Welcome to Yin. Lovely to see you. Today's meditation, you can start any way that's going to serve you. Lying down, sitting up. Begin by exhaling out all of your air. I'm going to turn my camera off so that you can just focus on what's going on in your mind. Take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth, going at your own pace. Closing the eyes or looking down to the floor. Or rolling your eyes up to your third eye center. And before we go on, just notice where your mind is at in this moment. Do you need to shake out or move the body? Shake out any wiggles or move the body? And do you need to take your awareness to your breath to just help slow down the mind and quiet the chatter? If you're lying down, notice if that feels good or if you need to place something under your head, under your knees. If you're seated, do you need to sit on something, against something? And together we'll take a slow, deep breath in through the nose. Slow breath out the nose. And start opening your awareness to include any sensations that you feel in your body. Using the breath, bring in awareness and relaxation into the body and mind. Breathing in, reach the spine upward and bring energy into the body. When breathing out, let everything go. Let the jaw relax. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. And soften the muscles of the belly. With your awareness being about your body, just note where in the body you feel something at this present moment. Mindfully observe that feeling for a few moments. Then open open yourself up to other experiences in the body. If then there's any chatter that comes into the mind, take your awareness back to the areas in your body that you're experiencing a feeling of the breath, a feeling of relaxation, maybe agitation. There's no right or wrong. But as you breathe out, simply let everything go. Over the next few breaths, and see if you can experience a whole body feeling rather than one of the areas that you've been observing. Bring your breath to expand your entire body with each breath in. And feel the body become lighter as you let go and breathe out. Take 3 more breaths with a little more intention of fullness, deepness, expansion of the body, a little bit more with each breath. And then a full letting go on each exhale. And then return to a normal breath. And slowly start to open your eyes. If you are lying down, slowly come up to a seat. For you, those of you who were here last week, I'm going to do something similar just to bring little stretches to the body before you get into the stretches. Just a moving meditation, if you will, just to try to calm the body a little bit more. With your palms by your sides and face forward on the inhale, bring the arms up. Hands together, and the exhale down to the heart, come the hands. Again, release the hands, palms face forward. Big inhale as you bring the arms up, hands together. And exhale down to the heart. And one more, release the hands, palms face forward, and bring to mind an intention. Something that you want to let go of for just 1 hour. And big inhale. And on the exhale, bring the hands to heart center and send that intention out. Let that thought go just this time. Relax your hands down onto your knees. Whichever leg is on the bottom, if you're sitting cross-legged, that's fine. Just make sure you're on your sits bones. You're going to, once you bring your, sitting on your sits bones, hands to knees, you're going to lean forward. Then you're going to push into your right knee and twist to the left. Just a gentle opening in the front of the right shoulder, maybe the low back in your body, you might feel it a little bit more. And then inhale, come through center, lift your chest. And on the exhale, we're gonna lean and then push into the left hand and twist over to the right. And slowly come back to center, lift the chest. And on the exhale, bring your fingertips to the floor in front of you and start to walk those fingers as far forward as they're gonna go, but keep your bottom flat on the floor. So that'll be your stopping point, is as far as your fingers are gonna take you until your bottom lifts up. Then relax your head. Then inhale, slowly come up. Take your hands behind you. Tent your fingers. You might want to tent them out. It all depends on what's going on in your shoulders and your arms. So either fingers facing forward or behind you. You're going to lift the heart and the chin. Drop the head back as far as accessible for you and your body. Kissing your shoulder blades together. Pushing into those fingertips for support. Opening the heart. Breath in. On the exhale, slowly lower the chin. Relax the hands. And wherever you're at, extend your right leg out to the side. Very nice. So your left foot is going to stay in the center of your, or I should say the inner part of your right leg. Now it's up to you if you want to place a prop under your right leg. You're going to come into half stirrup, half dragonfly. So many of these poses have lots of names. I like to use the blocks here and then a couple of soft props, and I'm going to show you why. You're going to turn your torso to face the extended leg, the right leg. I'm going to barricade my knee in between these blocks. And then I'm going to place a blanket under my left knee because I know as soon as I start to lean this way, my left knee is going to come up. And then I'm going to play with leaning forward first. Feels okay on this leg, but if when you go to lean forward it feels tight, again, place something under your right knee to shorten your hamstring. If when you go to fold over that right leg, you're feeling a big pull in your sciatic or your low back on the left side, I offer you this modification. Move that left foot away just a little. Bring the right leg a little bit closer, so that way you're almost on top of that right leg. And this way it's less of an angle, less of a little twist to get to that right leg. That might help. Simply take a slow breath in and slow breath out. Saturday's yin was all about relaxing. And today more for this month of fear, letting fear go. And tonight, and I'll probably talk about it again on Saturday for those who didn't get to come tonight, I'm going to, for some of you, revisit the topic of the kleshas. And the kleshas are the mental afflictions, the challenges, the troubles in the mind that cause our internal suffering. And they are all fear-based. And it's believed when we practice Kriya Yoga, which is implementing tapas, pratyahara, and Ishvara pranitahana. I'll explain all of those, don't worry. When we practice Kriya Yoga, which are those three things, that it helps the intensity and it weakens those afflictions of the mind. You have less than 1 minute here. Number 2, just tune into when you move through Yin, you want to find a moment when you get into each pose, when you find that stillness. The last step of getting into a pose in Yin, finding the stillness. Take 2 more breaths here. You just want to kind of do a body scan and make sure you're relaxing your face and your shoulders and all those other things. After you've taken that second breath, slowly come up and remove any props. Maybe extend that left leg out, stretch them both out straight. Remember that the rebound period, the period in between each pose in Yin, is just find some stillness depending on your body. Maybe it feels tight. It's about letting the connective tissue, the fascia that we've just stretched, to just kind of slowly bring itself back together. Bending the right knee now inside the inner thigh of the left leg. You may find this leg is tighter, and so you want to put a soft prop under your left knee. Maybe frame the left leg with blocks or pillows, whatever you're using. Lower your body onto your props. Maybe you're not using any props and you're just coming right onto the floor. That's fine too. Remember though to come to each pose at about 80%, because you will be here for a few minutes. And just take a breath in, a slow breath in. And a slow breath out. Before I go into the kleshas, just want to explain them a little bit more in non-yogic terminology and phrasing. The kleshas basically take the problems, the challenges, the trauma, the suffering. And the kleshas are about or I should say, indicate that all of those things, all those forms of suffering go into at least 2 of the 5 categories under which the kleshas are broken down. They are the problems and the challenges of the past that we've held on to, and we continue to hold on to. As we try to move through the present and into the future. But something is there. There's something that holds us back, that doesn't allow us to continue on that journey. We feel like there's just one detour after another. So it's all the suffering in the mind. We have 1 more minute here. So the kleshas break down that suffering into several categories, because we all have the same problems. We just have a different background and a different story with which we share those problems. But when you peel back our personalities, our behaviors, who we are, etc., these challenges are all based on fears that we have. Things that we want to avoid, things that we want to feel. Take 2 more breaths. After those 2 breaths, slowly bring your legs together. Saturday's class was also about relaxing from the ground up. We went from the feet all the way up. So if you get a chance, if you get the monthly recordings, make a note of that one. I think I labeled it Relax. It was a really nice class. Whatever last Saturday was. I can't see the calendar that far from here. We're going to come into toe stretch. Curling those toes. Anything going on with your knees, by all means, bring a pad or a blanket or a soft pillow, small pillow, under your knees. If being on your knees is just not an option, no worries, don't fret. You can place 1 set of toes at a time against a wall and do the same thing. You don't even need to put those toes against a wall. You can just sort of stand in the middle of your room and come onto your toes. If you're taking this on your knees, we're going to start in 5 seconds. You're going to tuck the toes and either place your hands on blocks, maybe blocks in between the booty and the heels, maybe no blocks at all. It's all about what you need. You are here for 90 seconds. The time started 10 seconds ago. Relax your face. Return to appreciating the expansion of your breath, allowing you to be calm, to be present. About halfway done. If at any point you need to come out of this, if you are standing at the wall, if you're at home or you're watching this, switch your feet so that you're able to curl the other toes. Almost done, just 10 seconds. And gently move any props. Come on to all fours. Unless you're standing, go ahead and stay standing. Maybe tap the tops of your feet on the floor, or open and close the toes, whichever feels better. I'm going to come into ankle stretch next. Very similar to toe stretch. Most Yin teachers often pair them together. I do, maybe 50% of the time, but not always. If you need a blanket under your knees, go ahead and place a blanket there. You can also use a block. I'm going to show you another variation if being on your knees doesn't work. You can sit on a block or no block at all. Whether you're sitting on the block or no block at all, it's bottom right on top of the heels rather than in between them. That's a different pose. If you are not using a block, feel free to lean back. If you're using a block, most teachers don't recommend that you lean back because that block is there to support you in your spine. So just a thought, think about that before you lean back. If you're standing at a wall, you can grab your ankle and then slide your hand up to grab the foot so you can get that ankle stretch. You can also place your foot maybe on a wall or use a chair. Bring a chair next to you and place the top of that foot on the chair, and then just slowly bend the standing leg so that you can stretch out that ankle. The time started about 15 seconds ago. Don't worry, I'm watching the clock. If you happen to be leaning back because you're not on a block, maybe play with lifting the chin, opening the throat, letting the heart see some light. You're halfway done right here. So if you're standing, go ahead and switch feet. Almost done. Just 15, actually less than now, only 10 seconds. And slowly come out of this shape, especially if your chin was lifted up and back. Be slow about coming forward. Coming onto all fours, maybe taking some ankle circles in and out or tapping the feet again. Whatever your feet need. We've done a couple of poses with the legs, the half dragonfly, and now the toe stretch and ankle stretch. So we're going to come and do a shoulder stretch before we go back to the legs. Shoulder stretch is nice for the shoulder, also helps with the spine. Opening up the lungs. If you need to take this at the wall, just give me a second and I will show a variation at the wall. Otherwise, you're going to lie face down. Extend your right arm out first. Bring your right ear down to the floor or on a little small pillow. Then roll. You can use your left hand as support to roll your left hip on your right and maybe place the left foot behind the right leg If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. Instead, maybe stack your knees, one on top of the other, or use a block in between your knees, but still keep that right arm out, right ear down. We are not in shoulder stretch for long. If doing this on the floor is too much, or you just need a different shape, you can always take it standing at the wall, placing your right arm on the wall, leaning over to the shoulder. If you're a baseball fan, I'm gonna have to assume the Dodgers aren't doing well, because I just heard my husband use a bad word and I heard the shower turn on. So something not good is happening in the next room. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Now this stretch can be intense on the shoulders, so just be mindful if it's too much. Maybe you need to bring your right arm at an angle, maybe a little closer to the right leg rather than straight out to a T. You're almost halfway done, since this can be a pretty intense stretch. It's not held for long. Well, I've done shoulder stretch, so I know that it can feel like it's long. Nikolai Bachman wrote that seeds of unhappiness, sources of fear, cause conflict and strife. Roast them with the flame of awareness and clearly hear the inner essence of life. And he's relating it to these kleshas. You have less than 1 minute. That when we start to let go, we can actually let in and hear more, observe more, live more. Take 2 more breaths. And slowly roll back onto your belly if you have not already. And stick out your left arm, roll your right hip onto your left, maybe stack your knees. And take a slow breath in. And a slow breath out. Klesha is one klesha or kleshas, mental emotional afflictions. Emotions are instincts that arise when our buttons are pushed, causing a negative reaction instead of a positive action, are called kleshas. They are buried deep inside our being, waiting to surface at the opportune moment. There are 5 kleshas. The first and most important is lack of awareness, avidya. Avidya results from the other 4 kleshas, and because of that, they in turn can exist only if avidya is present. Avidya, the first klesha, is the shroud of ignorance, a simple lack of knowledge that prevents us from understanding something. It is the sound chamber in which the kleshas are heard. This is this space within that we know something is not the way it should be, the way it could be. And because it's about a lack of ignorance, it's also that space inside that we don't want to admit that there is or could be something wrong. The remaining afflictions are asmita, egotism, feeling more or less than you really are, raja, which is a desire for previously experienced pleasure, we have 1 more minute here. The 4th one is dvesha, aversion to previously experienced pain. And the last one is abhinivesha, a fear of death, the will to live, an instinct to survive. Each of these, like a virus, waits inside the heart mind, the chitta, for an event to trigger it. When that happens, it awakens and affects our thoughts, words, and deeds in a harmful and negative way. Take 2 more breaths here. You're going to be face down next. So get any props. You actually, if you've got a bolster or a couple of pillows, you'll be using those next. I can't hear, but I saw the mouth. Coming into half frog. So from your belly, you're going to bring pillows or bolster. I've been recently just calling it soft props. Soft, fluffy props. You're going to come face down first, then lean onto your left hip. Bring that soft prop closer. Place your right shin bone from knee to ankle. So try to avoid letting the ankle just sort of hang off somewhere. Make sure it's supported too. Then you're going to adjust your left hip Out to the left a bit more so that you can get that opening, that stretching feeling in your inner right hip, the right groin, and get as much of your stomach, chest, torso, as much as possible, flush with the floor. You can use your hands as pillows, maybe look left, right, or grab a small pillow. Taking a slow breath in. And a slow breath out. Now, if anybody wants, I can definitely go into greater detail privately of the 5 kleshas. But tonight I'm just getting sort of like an overview of the kleshas, how they work, how they affect us, how they cause negative thinking. All kleshas are fear-based. Avidya is the fear born of ignorance. 2, asmita is the fear the ego has of losing decision-making power or things it has become attached to. 3, raja erupts when we are afraid we will not experience a certain pleasure again, while 4, dvesha, manifests from being afraid we will endure a painful event over and over again. And lastly, 5, abhinavesha, is the deepest fear of death. The kleshas are arguably the most challenging aspects of ourselves to confront. Yet weakening and eventually removing them can be the most liberating part of our yoga practice. Kleshas cause us to suffer by producing negative thoughts and emotions called klishta vrittis in our heart-mind chitta. Yoga describes 3 practices collectively known as Kriya Yoga. Actually, it's Kriya Yoga, that can weaken these afflictions over time. Number 1, practice causing positive change, tapas, which is about self-discipline, self-observation, self-study, called swadhyaya. And lastly, humility with faith, Ishvara pranidhana, surrendering to a higher source. You have 1 minute on this side. These practices have the power to fundamentally change our behavioral patterns and cripple these powerful afflictions. Take 2 more breaths. And after those 2 breaths, you can slide your right leg off of your left, or off of the prop, back over toward your left. And then once you move that prop over, place your left leg up on it. And slowly take a deep breath in and out. Kleshas become stronger or weaker as our behavioral patterns play out. In any situation, especially interpersonal relations, we have the capability to act consciously or react unconsciously. Every action we perform creates a subtle impression that is recorded in our memory. Performing an action over and over, or experiencing a very strong impression from an event, maybe traumatic, creates a memory strong enough to influence future actions. The stronger the impression, the more it can affect our action or reaction. Eventually, over time, these memories lead us to form habitual patterns strong enough to overpower our conscious mind's intention to act differently. Hence, our mental emotional baggage can then drive our actions, often resulting in a reaction that further reinforces the unhealthy pattern of behavior and thus perpetuates our suffering. Our current mental emotional configuration is due to our past life experiences. We are the sum total of what we have gone through. Tracing a negative habitual behavior back to its original cause is like finding the cause of a disease. Once that has been discovered, action can be taken to remove it. You have about 1 more minute on this side. Once the kleshas or the kleshas are rendered inert, it is unable to activate in the same way that the volume control of an audio device becomes useless when the device is powered off. Then any related behavioral patterns will be unable to affect future actions, and no new harmful thoughts, ideas, emotions related to that particular klesha are created. Those harmful thoughts and emotions are like outer manifestations of the klesha and can be reduced by practicing dhyana meditation. Take 2 more breaths here. After you take those 2 breaths, go ahead and adjust your body so that your feet are near the wall so you can move into Banana Asana. I love saying that. I remember when I was a little girl, some of you might know it, there were a few of them around Southern California, a place called Farrell's. And I used to love to go to fairs. I only went there a couple times. I think once for my birthday. Hot fudge and ice cream and all kinds of yumminess. So on your back, feet against the wall. Make sure your feet are firmly supported by the wall so you can feel the resistance of the wall. Start to walk your legs toward the right. If your feet come away from the wall, maybe scooch a little bit closer. Now you're going to take those legs to the right only to the point where you start to feel 80% of a stretch on the left side of your body. Then if you want to go a little deeper, consider crossing your left leg over your right for even more of a stretch. And if that's good, stay right there. If you want a little more, start to wiggle your shoulders also over to the right, creating that banana shape. Your arms can stay by your sides or also swing up overhead and to the right. And take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. When we weaken and nullify the kleshas using the Kriya Yoga, the tapas, self-discipline, the self-observation, swadhyaya, and practicing humility and faith, Ishvara Pranitahana, they are no longer able to sprout and cause unconscious reactions. When our baggage no longer drives our actions and our chitta, heart-mind, is clear, then our attention can move on toward permanent freedom, kaivalya. You have about 1 more minute on this side. Take 2 more breaths here. And after those breaths, adjust the shoulders back, uncross the legs, maybe bring the knees into your chest. And on your next breath, start to walk the legs over to the other side. Making sure to keep your whole body, even your legs, flush with the floor. Maybe cross the right leg over the left, and maybe wiggle the shoulders over to the left. in and out. Some mantras that you can practice to help be more mindful and reduce those kleshas. I want to know why I react negatively, then take steps to lessen my reactions. I will practice Kriya Yoga in order to resolve my afflictions and cultivate true inner happiness. We have a little less than 1 minute on this side. Take 2 more breaths. And slowly unwind, unravel. You can stay right there or move closer and take legs up the wall. It is already 8 o'clock, so if you have to go, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll be going over a couple minutes. My apologies. If you decide to take legs up the wall, you can scoot your booch all the way to the wall and then take those legs straight up the wall. It's very restorative. Maybe bring a cloth or a towel over the eyes, or grab a pillow or a blanket to place on your heart and your stomach for a little bit of comfort. And take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. to deepen your breath. Wiggle the toes, the fingers. You can bring your knees to your chest. Maybe roll to one side or the other. If you're ready to close out practice, we will close practice today seated. Closing practice with a single Om. We'll take an inhale and an exhale first. Just like we started, palms face forward. Big inhale, circle above the head. Exhale down to the heart. And then preparing for Om, let's take a full breath in. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your class today. It's been my honor and my privilege. Please take your hands to your lips. I ask that you speak words of kindness and compassion, not just to others, but to and about yourself. Take your hands to your eyes. I ask that you see the beauty and the love in others, but also that which lies within you first. And lastly, take your hands to your third eye center. Go and be the best you that you can be, because there is only one you. Inhale. And exhale as we bow forward to seal our practice and honor each other. Blessings and namaste.